Hello, I'm George P. Bush, Commissioner of the Texas General Land Office, which includes the GLO archives and records, home to over 35 million documents and 45,000 maps that tell the story of our great state. Thank you for spending your time with me this morning. Let's talk about maps and what they can tell us about the past. Usually when we want to learn about historical eras or events, we have a usual way of going about it. We read about it, we might read a passage from a textbook, a handout from your teacher, or an article from the internet. But we rarely think about using a map for the same purpose. You already know that Texas won its independence from Mexico in 1836, but Texas problems were far from over. There's a lot of work to do. Texas was a country blessed with millions of acres of unspoiled land, but the state could also be a dangerous place. President Sam Houston and the new Texas government knew this, so to properly govern, Sam needed sound advice. Here's where you come in. Imagine you are one of President Houston's most trusted advisors. You have been given the task of identifying the opportunities and pitfalls of governing Texas and reporting back to President Houston and his staff with recommendations on how best to manage these. To make your job even more challenging, the only source you have is a map. This map. It will be the only information available to you in this challenge. So let's take a closer look. The first thing you need to do is gather basic information about the map. Things like its title, the date of the map, and any other interesting features that grab your attention. Please take a few minutes to find this information and we'll continue in a moment. You now know that the title of the map is the New Map of Texas, created in 1841. There are other interesting features that emphasize boundaries and identifying the locations of various Native American tribes. So now let's begin the task. Use this work document, Opportunities and Pitfalls, to record your findings. Study the map carefully. Under the column Opportunities, identify and list 10 observations you feel would be an asset to the new Republic of Texas and explain why. An example might be the vast amount of land that Texas has to offer to people to move there to establish farms, settlements, or a new way of life. Next, under the column Pitfalls, list 10 potential problems you see that the Texas government needs to address. An example might be the lack of rivers or transportation opportunities in the western area of Texas. Once your group has identified opportunities and pitfalls, discuss them with your fellow advisors and highlight 5 opportunities and 5 pitfalls you think are the most important. Share your findings with the class and make sure to point to the map for reference as you share. Each group may keep their opportunities and pitfalls as they are or use one shared by other groups. Of course, the last thing you need to do is brief President Houston. And for that, your group will need to write a summary of your findings and recommendations for him to consider. Your job is now complete. However, you may want to research this further to see if President Houston addressed these problems, and if he did, what were his solutions. So the next time you want to learn about Texas history, think about using maps. They can tell us a lot. Thank you on behalf of the General Land Office for allowing us to be a part of your class today.